What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 12 of Mr. Millennial's Revenge. I'm your host, Nick DeMaria. Hey, winter solstice. Like I said at the top of the episode, today is the winter solstice, or as I like to point out, the shortest day of the year. It's creepy. It's always something that has fascinated me. Like this creepy, dark day. And it's really just the fact that it's officially winter. But I don't know. With 2020, every day has felt like the winter solstice. Am I right? So, but yeah, episode 12. Today I was joined by a very long-time friend, collaborator, my friend, the guitarist and educator, Shane Peters. He joined me via Zoom for the podcast. And we were just catching up on this episode. Shane's an incredible guitarist. When I was first starting out as a performer and musician, Shane was on many of my gigs. And we still find time to make it on the bandstand together, which is always nice. For a while, anytime I had a duo gig, I would hire Shane. He's a great accompanist, and I've always enjoyed his playing. And we just shoot the shit, and he brings up Jim Hall, Schofield. We talk about our favorite and least favorite Christmas songs, which I will definitely talk about once I get to the interview section of the show. But before that, let's just do the housekeeping real quick. Mr. Millennial's Revenge is a production of the New Haven Jazz Underground, which is a grassroots community-based organization dedicated to producing concerts, clinics, and jam sessions, all in the name of jazz in the great city of New Haven, Connecticut. Please consider becoming a sponsor for as low as $2 a month. That money goes so far, including funding our Mind the Hang concert series, which is a monthly concert streamed live from the Ellie Center of Contemporary Art. So, thank you to all our current patrons and supporters and everything. It really means a lot that, you're supporting us during this really hard time and, helping us keep the music lights on and employ musicians and put on some concerts. So, there's a $2 level, $5 level, 10 and 20. If, whatever is helpful and doesn't break the bank for you is greatly appreciated. So do please consider becoming a patron. And you could do that at patreon.com/NHVJU. So, man, I have to say, real sad news today. It turns out the music venue, Never Ending Books, on State Street in New Haven has decided to close. And it's really sad because, so many great shows were put on at Never Ending Books. It was like this used bookstore. It was like had a really small stage, and it was home to the New Haven Improvisers Collective. I've played basically almost all of my experimental or avant-garde jazz gigs there, and it was a place to catch really great music coming through town. And, there was the Uncertainty music series led by Carl Testa that was out of there. Paul Balbusti was running a residency with his band Mercy Choir for a while, and a lot of $0 solo gigs were there. So $0 is my moniker for my free jazz stuff. And the band has been a trio, a quartet, a duo, but whenever I've performed $0 solo, it was at Never Ending Book. So that venue will be certainly missed. It's quite a drag and another casualty of the COVID pandemic, which just fucking sucks, man. And also, speaking of thinking about our good friends at Three Sheets, they decided to close down for the rest of the year and regroup for 2021. Man, I I just hope that things turn around for everybody. The businesses are getting hit really hard. So I can't stress enough how much the crew at Three Sheets means to me and the NHJU community. We couldn't do what we do if it wasn't for Three Sheets. So, my heart goes out to them, and I wish them the best, and can't wait to see them in 2021. And it just, reiterates the fact that order takeout, man. If you can order takeout, it goes a long way, and you're directly helping the community. Because quite frankly, like let's get to the brass tacks. The fucking government's not going to do it, right? Because they think it's cool. After 9 months, that's $600 is plenty. It's which is terrible. I try not to get into too many political rants on the show, but it just fucking pisses me off that we're paying for a fighter jet that can't fly in the rain, but we can't give people more money, and a lot of people are hurting, and it sucks. So, I think I said in the last couple of episodes, try to donate to charities and everything. But this year, donating to charity might include a takeout dinner order from a restaurant, because they, they're really hurting, man. It sucks. I still have my brunch gig, actually. I play every Sunday at Atelier Florian. The gig is usually a duo, but it's been downgraded to a solo gig, which is fine. I'm just grateful that they, didn't let me go. They decided to keep me on and just downsize, and I don't know why. Like it's flattering. You know what I mean? It's really flattering that they decided to not just can me, or let me go. It's like they want to keep me there. They want to keep the jazz brunch going. So, I'm really grateful to the crew there and everyone involved. And it just goes to show, man, how fucking bullshit everything is going on, and it just sucks. So, just keep everyone else in mind when you're feeling jolly and feeling in the Christmas spirit and the holiday spirit and that sort of thing, because so many people are hurting. So, R.I.P. to the great Never Ending Books. I hope that a similar venue can open in its place, because it was really something truly special. Saw a lot of great, interesting music there. And I know the musicians who called it home are certainly going to miss it. So, R.I.P. Never Ending Books. So, after talking to Shane, I was like, man, it's been a while since I dove into some guitar player music. And by guitar player music, it's like, oh, what guitar player is on a record with a trumpet player that I like, right? I mean, tongue-in-cheek, but kind of true. I'm sorry, I'm just in love with the trumpet. So, the most guitar player I've heard in a small group is Grant Green, because he's on so many records that I love. And, Search for the New Land comes to mind. And, man, I fucking love that record. I think it's definitely in my top 10. It might be my favorite Lee Morgan record. I know if I think about it, it's definitely up there. I'm trying to think, because I love The Sixth Sense. I love Caramba. Live at the Lighthouse. The later stuff is more so my Lee Morgan stuff. Mode for Joe, but that's like, I think, my favorite Blue Note album. But that set aside, Search for a New Land is certainly, we'll say right now on the show that it's my favorite Lee Morgan album. And I love Grant Green's playing on it, because you get to hear him kind of push himself. Because look at the band. You got Herbie and Wayne in there, and Reggie Workman. And Billy Higgins, I believe, is on drums. I hope. I'm going to have to look it up, because I would be super embarrassed if it was somebody else. But I'm pretty sure it's Billy Higgins. And I just feel like you get to hear him in a different light. It's like not as bluesy. It's it's more modal bass. It's definitely I'm thinking of the title track. It's more of that like post-bop sound. And I'm looking, yes, Billy Higgins, thank God. He's pretty much the drummer on all Lee Morgan albums. But what I love is, I'm pretty sure it's the track Mr. Kenyatta. During Lee Morgan's solo, it's not Herbie who's comping, it's Grant Green. So you get guitar, trumpet, bass, drums, which is a configuration I play a lot in when I gig. I usually have a guitar player. It's probably a 70-30 or 60-40 split between guitar and piano. But it's always a pleasure to hear guitar, trumpet, bass, drums together because it's a configuration that I work with a lot and really enjoy. But anyway, you've got Grant Green comping behind Lee Morgan during his solo, and it's so fucking killing. It's fantastic. I love the interplay between Herbie and Grant. And then it's funny because you can listen to an album like Grandstand, which is like an organ based group, or Green Street, right, which is just guitar trio. But then you'd also the albums he did with Sam Rivers and Larry Young, or Larry Young and Elvin. I think it's called Thinking About. I'm so bad with title names. I really should write this stuff down before I think about it completely. But what a versatile musician, because obviously he's got like the blues stuff under his belt, he does the jazz funk stuff, but then he's got an album where he plays with Coltrane's rhythm section, and he's playing a lot of different stuff than you would from like the blues and the funk. So what a versatile musician. Absolutely love Grant Green. He also plays like a horn player. I mentioned this on the in the interview with Shane. Like he was very much influenced by Miles and horn players. So I think as a horn player, he's an accessible guitarist because of his playing style. It's a little bit more relatable. Definitely thinking about Grant Green. And then a lot of my guitar playing friends, and Shane brings this up especially, so I'm gonna focus on him. But I know my homie Will Brennan does too. But Pat Martino's a musician I need to spend more time diving into. I have a couple of favorites. I love that album El Hombre. That title tune El Hombre. It's another like organ based group. I think there's like percussion in it as well. But man, that organ sounds like a video game. It sounds like you're playing Atari or the original Nintendo or something. Like a modern record that reminds me is the Bernstein, Bill Stewart, Larry Golding's Live at Smalls. If you know that record, you know what I'm talking about. They play Milestones. They play the modal one, the Miles Davis one, and the intro to Milestones, Larry Golding starts. The organ just sounds like it's straight out of Battletoads or some kind of other video game. And El Hombre has that same kind of vibe. Absolutely love that track. It's cool, And then I'm sure this is like a no-brainer for guitarists, but Just Friends. Just Friends off that record is so fucking good. I think that might be my favorite rendition of that tune. I gotta think about it, but that album El Hombre and Footprints, those are really the only Pat Martino records I know, and I really need to like dive into his discography more because I know he's done a lot, and Shane talks about him a lot as being one of his main guys. So yeah, and then the other and then obviously I gave it away, Jim Hall. So I first discovered Jim Hall, as I'm sure many trumpet players do, on the album Interplay because Freddie Hubbard's on it. I absolutely love the jazz quintet with guitar and trumpet. I think it is such a great mix. It's not done enough. I definitely want to record that configuration sometime in the future because I think the blend, there's two quintets that I love the blend of. Trumpet and Vibes, which I definitely want to record with. Eddie Henderson had a band like that for a long time. Jeremy Pell currently does. And it's just, I don't know, Trumpet and Vibes is beautiful. Is just a beautiful, lush, great sound that reminds me of the color blue, basically. But then guitar and trumpet, another great combination. And that album really blew me away, because I love Freddie Hubbard so much. And it was you're getting peak Freddie Hubbard, like early 60s. I think the record came out in 62. Like 60 to 65 is some of the best Freddie Hubbard ever. And it's kind of like the most accessible Freddie Hubbard at times. The way he displaced rhythm later in his playing is way different than he did. He played more like straight ahead, if you know what I'm talking about, in his earlier career. Like it was more of a Booker Little kind of sound, you could tell, but as he got older, it sounds like he's moving the inflections in different directions, and basically if you want to compare, listen to him on Ready for Freddie, and then listen to him on something like Back at Birdland or Live at Fat Tuesdays, I believe it's called. It's a double album from like 1991, maybe. Different style of Freddie Hubbard, and they're both distinctly Freddie Hubbard, but they're different. Anyway, I'm digressing. Jim Hall on Interplay. I love hearing Jim Hall on that record, because Jim, like, contrary to Grant Green, Jim Hall sounds like what like a guitarist sounds like to me, or what I expect a guitarist wants to sound like, basically. My good buddy Dan Lipperini, I feel like I hear Jim Hall in his playing a lot. We always connect, and whenever we're sending each other tracks, I feel like he's always bringing up Jim, or we've talked about him, and so the his work on that record, his work, Jim Hall on The Bridge by Sonny Rollins, just absolutely gorgeous. But Jim Hall with Art Farmer. I'm not the biggest Art Farmer fan, and it's nothing against Art Farmer's playing or Art Farmer as a person. I got no qualms. It's just, when it comes to the dark, the blue flame as opposed to red flame style of playing, Miles, Kenny Dorham, Johnny Coles, those are my guys. So I feel like Art Farmer's in the same camp. So he just gets overshadowed by Kenny Dorham and Miles for me, and that's basically the answer. But the quartet Art Farmer had with Jim Hall is amazing, and it's like that's a sound I try to keep in mind. My interview with Shane got me re-listening to those records. The records with the quartet. I think Steve Swallow's on bass, and maybe Pete LaRocca's on a lot of them playing drums, but I love the record Perception from 1964. I think that's my favorite Art Farmer quartet record. That one and Interaction, because the rendition of Days and Wine and Roses is just so fucking good. And that's the thing, man. Like, you don't like, these albums are classic, but like you don't really hear trumpet quartet with guitar. You don't hear trumpet quartet very often. And when Eddie Henderson made his album For All We Know, it was trumpet, guitar, bass, and drums, and the guitarist was John Scofield. What a difference! I feel like I should have brought that up with Shane. That record. I'm gonna text him after I record the show and definitely make sure he knows about it. What an incredible album! Hearing Eddie with Sco, like, just a great combination. I love Scofield. I mean, most of my listening of him is like the funk stuff, the jam band stuff, because I was in high school when like Uber Jam came out and Up All Night, and I'm a big fan of Medeski Martin Wood, so his work with them kind of overshadows, like, especially his early records or some of the trio stuff. I did see his trio live, and it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. Saw him at the Blue Note when one of their more recent albums came out. But yeah, Jim Hall, Art Farmer, Live at the Half Note, incredible stuff. And the thing is like, it's super grooving, it's super swinging, and the horn, the Art Farmer's playing is amazing. In that like Milesian kind of style, more so than say like the Dizzy, the Donald Byrd, the Clifford Brown, the Freddie kind of playing. There's like this duo section on Days and Wine and Roses off of Interaction. And I was just texting Dan Lipperini that track because I thought about it, listened to it again right before I recorded the show, and that was the first thing he sent back to me. It was like the duo chorus, and it's just like, yep, every time. Every fucking time it gets me. Such good stuff. So one thing that Shane and I talk about in his interview is Christmas music. And man, Christmas music is different for everybody. I certainly love, the the classic stuff. Like I always listen to the holiday classic playlists as opposed to the modern stuff. I could give two shits about like current stuff, except two records. John Legend's Christmas album, it's like a very legendary Christmas or something. That one is amazing. And JD McPherson's called Socks, also amazing. Those two records, those are two modern Christmas albums I love. When it comes to the other stuff, the Burl Ives stuff, the Ronettes singing, oh God, you know what I'm talking about. Oh, it's gonna kill me. I keep forgetting these titles. Donny Hathaway song "This Christmas." Oh, that stuff is what I fucking live for, man. Oh my God, what is that Ronettes? Is it Frosty? I think it's Frosty the Snowman. I think that's what they sing. And then above all, I totally forgot to mention in the interview, but the Christmas song by Nat King Cole. That song gets me every fucking time. Every time that song just gets me. I love that song. I think it is so beautiful. It is so well written and so well performed. Nat King Cole. Another musician I just don't listen enough to. But and then I would be remiss if I didn't mention Little Saint Nick by the Beach Boys. I forgot to mention that in the interview. It is not Christmas unless I listen to that record. So, but Shane, being the guitar organ trio lover and player he is, of course he brings up Don Patterson and his holiday classic album. So, you're getting it all in this interview. So, let's get to my interview with Shane. Shane, I've known Shane for a long time, real long time. We went to WestCon together, and we've been friends ever since. I call him my main man. He's someone that I share the love of The Simpsons with, Seinfeld, movies. It was hard to stay focused on music during this interview because we could just talk about literally everything. So let's get to it. Shane Peters, and like I said, he's a guitarist, he's an educator, and this is my interview with my good friend, Mr. Shane Peters.
All right.
So listen, I got a bathrobe for my birthday. It's the first bathrobe I've ever owned, and it is insanely warm. So laugh all you want. I'm enjoying being comfortable. I feel like I'm wearing a blanket. Why haven't I had a bathrobe before in my life?
Yeah, that's awesome. I got to hold on. I'm trying something. Let me set something up differently here.
I never had a bathrobe ever. Have you?
Not one that I've worn.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you were given a bathrobe by the wrong person, I guess it would be terrible to wear.
Yeah. Here, hold on a second. I got to switch these headphones into something different. Can you hear me all right?
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I've even started the recording. We're just diving right into it.
Oh, we're just shooting the shit. Okay.
Yeah, because you know what? I've learned that sometimes when you wait to after the intros and everything, some of the best stuff happens when I'm not recording. So for someone like you, I'm gonna just hit record and we'll just dive right into it.
We'll just see what happens. Yeah. No, I got a microphone. How does it sound on your end?
Yeah, it sounds pretty good.
Okay, yeah, it was just like literally one of the band directors I work with came into my room like last week and was like, "Hey, I got you something." And I was like, "What'd you get?" He's like, "I got you like a pretty like good USB microphone." He's like, "Just like if we need to go remote." So we're also like the 3 music teachers got it. So I'm like, "Well, I know what I'm using this for." Like, yeah. So it's like this USB like AKG.
It looks like
your
news radio. Yeah. Oh my God. It looks like you got to do the transatlantic accent.
Yeah. I don't know. Put a little. I don't know. Still.
Newsflash.
Yeah. Extra.
Yeah.
So I got that. I'm trying bourbon. Like I bought a bottle of bourbon for the first time.
For the first time?
Yeah. I've never really been into bourbon, and it's okay.
What? Well, all right. Bourbon is my drink of choice. So what? I mean, did you were like a Grey Goose guy for a while.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Right. I recall you had I don't know where we were. We were at some bar and I ordered like a fucking Sam Adams cherry wheat or some shit, right?
Hey, that was high class, man, back in the day.
I know
The cherry I've been thinking about this for a while. I was thinking that when I feel like we're coming down to it. We're in the 8th inning of COVID, I feel like right now.
Sure.
The vaccine's rolling out. But when it's over, I feel like we should have a college themed party. So, like, I was thinking about this. I don't know what made me think about this today. But do you remember back in college? It's just like, oh, we're having a party. It's like, great. I'll make brownies. Cool. I'll make cupcakes. Like the only thing anybody ever brought to parties were like baked goods that they learned how to make when they were like 13 years old.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we should have like, High Life, cherry wheat, like all the horrible crap we drank in college.
Well, first off, I still drink High Life pretty regularly. There's always High Life in my fridge.
Did I say High Life?
I think. Oh,
Miller Lite. Miller Lite.
You mean Miller Lite and Busch Light, actually?
Yeah. Oh, I don't think I ever drank Busch Light. I mean, I remember it being there. I don't think I ever loathed myself that much.
Desperate times require desperate solutions. No, but I remember. I don't know if we were just hanging out one night or I came to a gig or something, but we were at the bar and I ordered like a Sam Adams and you ordered a Grey Goose on the rocks, and I remember being so impressed with you. Because so this must have been maybe. We were like 23 or 24, like we had been legally drinking for a while. And I just remember you saying, I've made the change to Grey Goose, and you're saying how good it was. And in my head, I was like, oh my God, my friend Shane's a man.
No, there's a real man.
Yeah, he's an adult. And here I am drinking a beer like a fucking idiot, right? And I'll never forget, I think the next time I was out with my girlfriend at the time, I ordered a Grey Goose on the rocks. It did not finish it. I took one sip and I was like, my God, how can I drink straight vodka on ice? What it was terrible. In a way I felt humiliated. I was just like, what am I doing here?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like I think I was like trying to drink Grey Goose like on the rocks. I don't think it panned out. It's like, the episode of The Simpsons where the lemon, like the lemon tree. And he like he's like, no, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to relax. And he like takes it, like,
yeah, right. He just takes a bite out of the lemon. Yeah.
Yeah.
It tries not to show that he's like,
that
sucking himself in. Yeah, I remember that. And then part of my experience with vodka was just mixing it with whatever soda or orange juice I can get and then vomiting it out about 3 hours after that.
Yeah.
I've never been really a vodka guy. And my wife, that's her, her poison, I guess. But
yeah,
I've been a bourbon guy. That I think when I finally did grow up physically, maybe not mentally, but when I grew up physically, the alcohol of choice was bourbon. I always enjoyed that a little bit more. So what brand are you drinking there?
This is I literally was at like BJ's liquor store. And they have some okay stuff there. Like actually there's a couple of wines there that I like, but I got Woodford Reserve.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Oh yeah. I gave my brothers and J-Rod a little bottle of it as a part of their groomsmen gift.
Yeah, it's good. I mean,
good run of the mill. Yeah.
Now, like, because look, when I started drinking beer too, it wasn't like I had a sip of beer and it was like, whew, I'm in flavor country. You know what I mean? Like, I'm loving this. Like, it was, it was more like everybody's doing it, so I have to figure out how to keep this down.
Yeah.
Like,
I have to figure out how I'm gonna get past this taste. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So, like, when did you go from drinking bourbon and having it be like, I can do this, to like, I really enjoy this? Or was it instant for you?
It wasn't instant. I remember the first time, so not bourbon, but rye. I had rye whiskey in a Manhattan. My friend Garrett made it for me, and and he had just learned how to make Manhattans. And again, this is like 25, so like I'm, the most scandalous drink I've had was like an IPA at that point. I hated it. So it did take a while, but I wanted, I don't know, there was something about it. I had friends who were drinking bourbon, so I was kind of like, oh, this is the hard alcohol that's like gonna be at hangs and stuff. And then I started trying different kinds of bourbons and stuff, and I did eventually develop like a slight palate to like knowing the difference between Jameson, Jack Daniels, and then some of like the next tier stuff up. By no means am I aficionado. My favorite bourbon is Bullet, and it's not, and Maker's Mark and Woodford Reserve. These are Joe Plumber bourbons. I am not the person who's going to spend $100 or even $50 on a like really expensive bottle of bourbon. I'm sure at some point I will, but that's not the case. Like I spend $60 on like the big bottle of Bullet because it'll last me like a month,
Yeah.
But you know what happened was I eventually started having old fashions, and when you have an old fashioned that's made correctly, because so many bars don't know how to make a good old fashioned. They just fuck up the recipe basically. But once you start having like really good old fashions, I think then you could start having it just on the rocks. So like well, here's the difference. So my cousin, he drinks his whiskey straight up, like nothing in it. I need an ice cube because I need the liquid to be cold. Like I'm just not a fan of warm alcohol, liquid, I guess.
Yeah.
And whiskey's got like a burn to it, obviously, the alcohol. So I'd rather it be a little chilled. So I'll have it with ice, but then I've learned to make my own Manhattans and my own old fashions. That's the trick. So
Okay, so I've done so far. So this is like day 6, and so far I've done straight cut with water, and then I have like my sister like a few years ago bought me like these ice molds like strictly for bourbon. They're like these like spherical molds. They're like massive.
Yeah.
So I tried that too, and honestly I think of those 3 I definitely prefer the straight up. I don't know. What's in a Manhattan? I don't even know what's in a Manhattan.
So a Manhattan is sweet vermouth, the bourbon, and like a maraschino cherry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a really simple drink. Usually like served in a martini glass. I usually get in a rocks glass because I'm a fucking slob. And then a old fashioned is you get a little sugar in there. You add a little water to dilute it. You put bitters, bourbon, the orange peel. And am I missing anything?
You have to muddle that all together? Don't you
No, not really.
Oh, you don't? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you just stir it, and then you take the orange rind and you twist it and put it on the rim, and then you drop it in, and then there you go. So sometimes you get a shitty old fashioned. They'll put like seltzer or soda water.
Oh.
And they don't mix it, and it's just you could tell. With Manhattans, you're not supposed to shake them. You're supposed to stir them. There is like a difference in how and how you treat the mixture. Yeah, those are my 2 go-to like big boy drinks. It's funny, not to plug my own show, but I interviewed the owner of Conspiracy Bar a couple episodes ago. I think like episode 7, Mark Sabo. He talks about the history of cocktails in America. So I think you would find it very interesting because I knew I'd be like really, I knew it was going to be educational, but he is to like cocktails like we are to like jazz or music.
Yeah.
So like
just
the culture behind it. It was I want that episode to be like the most listened to because it was actually the most educational for me. It was fascinating.
Anytime you're talking to somebody who knows a lot about something like in particular, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's, if there's one thing I've learned, like, and I keep learning over and over again, it's just how deep every rabbit hole goes.
Oh yeah.
every single one of them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like just the pizza rabbit hole that I'm going down right now, like making pizza. You know what I mean? Like it just keeps going. You know?
Yeah, no doubt. I definitely want to get into that. But I want to not forget that the first cocktail in America was called the Sazerac, and it was made with rye instead of bourbon. Very similar to an old fashioned in a Manhattan, and that's basically where like the cocktail came from and stuff. Check out the episode. It actually is like really, Mark is the man, and he really breaks it down in a very like succinct way. So yeah, I think it's like I can't believe I'm plugging my own show. It's like episode 7 or 8, I think.
All right, sweet.
Mark Sabo. Nobody appreciated the title of that episode, and I know you will. So
okay, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. But yeah, speaking of rabbit holes, and you mentioned, yeah, you're the pizza guy. So, you know, what styles of pizza? I mean, do you do like pizza challenges with other people?
Well, I've done cooking challenges with other people, never specifically,
right.
never specifically a pizza challenge.
Okay.
So I've done a few. It's really fun, and again, you know, unfortunately, living in COVID times, like we can't do these things really right now. But I look forward to doing them again. So we started. Me and my wife Mary and 2 other couples that we're friendly with, also musician couples. So one of them wanted to do a Chopped party, so like the TV show Chopped. So
yeah,
what it was, you know, we kind of drew names out of a hat beforehand, and we showed up. So me and Mary had to bring. I think it was 3 mystery ingredients, maybe 4. I want to say 3, but 3 mystery ingredients per couple. So me and Mary had to bring the appetizer mystery ingredients, and then the other 2 couples, one of them got the entree mystery ingredients, and the other couple got the dessert mystery ingredients. You had 30 minutes on the clock to prepare. So whoever pulled the appetizer card couldn't have been the person that brought the ingredients for it. So it wasn't me and my wife. So you had 30 minutes on the clock to use the mystery ingredients and anything in their kitchen to make an appetizer. And then for dinner and dessert, you got 40 minutes, but the same rules applied. And it was a blast, because when you're not cooking, you're just drinking and making fun of the people that are cooking.
Sure.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So everything I love: drinking, cooking, and making fun of people.
And belittling people. Right?
Yeah. I mean, come on, how could you not like that? So the first night, me and Mary, we got the dessert course and we won. And the only reason that we won is because we were running a test kitchen like every other day. And the only thing we were really practicing was dessert, because that's the wild card. You got to have something to make for dessert. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you get appetizer ingredients, you can throw together an app. You can throw together a dinner. Dessert, though, it's tough, because you kind of need, like for dessert, you kind of need a vessel for whatever the ingredients are going to be.
Yeah.
So we were practicing making, you know, whatever we could make and get on a plate in 40 minutes time.
I'm not surprised that you and your wife would like practice this. That's like very much in your psyches to like.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Like, and that's the thing. Like, especially with me, is like if I'm doing something, it's I can't do something half-assed. Like, if I'm gonna commit to something, and like you've known me long enough to know, if I'm committing to something, it's because I'm interested in it, like really interested in it, and I'm probably gonna get pretty I'm gonna become overbearing with it too.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did that. We took down the first one with the dessert course. We hosted the second round, and the dessert course won again. That was Nick Albano and his wife Sarah. And then then they were the ones that were going to host the third one, but they don't have children, thus they don't stock like a pantry.
Gotcha.
Like their refrigerator, if you went over right now, would probably have like a couple of soy sauce packets and some mustard in it. So like they do like the meal order thing, like HelloFresh or Blue Apron or whatever.
Yeah.
So they just took us out to dinner, which was fantastic. And honestly, that was when they took us out to dinner. We were sitting at the table discussing, so what is this COVID thing about anyway?
No shit.
Oh, I heard it was just like the flu.
Oh Oh, no shit.
That was legitimately the conversation we were having. And while we were there, we went to Barcelona and Fairfield, and while we were there, we got the alert that there was the first active case in Fairfield County while we were eating dinner.
Way.
And it was like, huh. And we went back to their house, played some games and ate some more, and just kind of like carried on with our lives, like, whatever.
Yeah. It's kind of funny at this point, at the 32nd month of COVID. I'm starting, I don't know if this is just sick of me, but I'm starting to enjoy pre-COVID stories, and especially like, where were you when you first heard about it? That's becoming like kind of like a little sick enjoyment for me, because it's funny you bring it up, because I was listening to, I'll never forget this. I was making breakfast, listening to NPR, and they were mentioning, this flu-like cold or whatever, and my wife was nervous, and I said, "Don't worry about it. Like, stuff like this happens. Like, we'll be okay." I'm thinking like swine flu and all this stuff, and I remember saying, like, there was Ebola. Like, we're gonna be fine.
I remember my very first. Yeah, I feel the same way. So first of all, not to interject, but I will, because that's me. So Mary, my wife, had swine flu. She's basically the only person I know that had swine flu.
Holy shit.
Yeah. She had swine flu. I've never seen someone that sick for that long.
Wow.
that didn't die. She would like. I remember this was. I mean, we were still living in New York at the time.
Yeah, this is 2012, maybe. I want to say.
I don't even think. Maybe I don't even think it was. I think it was earlier than that.
It was like early Obama. It was like early Obama years.
Yeah. Like. So, but like she was just sick as a dog. So I remember I was like, "You got to go to the doctor." So I remember taking her to the doctor.
Yeah.
And we're sitting in the waiting room, and I'm sitting next to her, and she's just like she's like barely conscious.
Yeah.
Her eyes are rolling back in her head, and then she finally puts her head down, like, and shuts her eyes and falls asleep. And I'm like, okay, well, she's, just absolutely exhausted. And at this point, I'm thinking, like, she's probably got swine flu.
Right.
And she's got her eyes closed for like 30 seconds. All of a sudden, her eyes just freaking go right open. And she just looks at me. She's like, I'm going to be sick. And she goes running for, the little waiting room bathroom in the doctor's office.
Yeah.
Of course, gets in there, slams the door. As soon as she slams the door, the nurse comes out and is like, Mary?
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, she's in the bathroom. So we're waiting by the bathroom door, and it's like 5 minutes, no sound from inside the bathroom. So finally, I like knock on the door, no response. It's me, so I open the door, and she's face down on the bathroom tile in there.
Oh my God.
Yep. Got her up, got her to the back of the, or got her into the doctor's room, right? And they did like the rapid test or whatever. And the doctor just goes, yeah, you have swine flu. She's like, I'm going to write you a note. Like, you can't return to work for 2 weeks. And Mary's just, Mary's a teacher. And she's just like, am I allowed to do that? Can I even do that? Can I not go to work for 2 weeks?
Right.
And dude, she was either in bed or on the couch, half conscious for 2 weeks. Like, I cannot tell you how sick she was. And she didn't get anyone else in the house sick. I lived there.
The good old days.
Our friend lived there, and we like her dad lived there. Like, no one else got sick. She somehow kept all those germs to herself. But I've never seen anyone that ill. And then and so you're right. My point is, we heard about it. It's like, okay, well, Mary was real sick, but she was all right. And then I remember, do you remember bird flu? Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
So bird flu, I was sitting in my very first professional development, like, opening session for convocation. I had been hired like the day before in Bethel, and I'm listening to the speaker talking about bird flu. This would have been 2007. And the speaker's going like, yeah, once this really takes hold, she goes, you'll probably just be teaching from your home, like, over the internet. And all of us were just like, you got to be kidding me. And of course it never happened.
Yeah.
So when they told us about this, I literally was like, oh, come on, guys. You remember bird flu? Like, do you want to know what they told me about bird flu? They told us we'd be teaching from our houses.
Yeah.
Well, here we are teaching from our houses.
So Swine. I was while you were talking, I was looking it up. Swine flu was spring of 2009. So were you even married yet? Because you got married in summer of '09,
We
right?
wouldn't have been married now. Yeah, we were July of '09.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So longer ago than it's insane how much longer ago it was. Back. So back to my wife. I like maybe like 2 days later or like a day later. I I uh I get a package. It's a gigantic Target box. I open it up. It's filled with toilet paper, canned goods, disinfectant spray, all the all the supplies.
All the hot ticket items.
Right. And Jill comes home, and I go, "What the hell are you doing?" And she's like, "It's supposed to be really bad. We should be stocked up." I go, "I'm one for stocking up and being prepared, of course. You're overreacting." I was like, "We are going to be fine." I swear to God, if she didn't buy that, and that box came like mid to late February, if she had not done that, that box gave us a head start when everybody bought all the cleaning supplies and toilet
Yeah.
paper and shit. It's insane. Like I tell her this all the time. She was right, I was wrong, and if it wasn't for her, just taking the initiative and doing some like online shopping, we
Yeah.
would have been really screwed because we
Well, I'm going to tell you this. You're early on in the marriage game. You're going to find yourself saying that a lot.
yeah. How long have I been married? Wait, July, August, September, October, November, December. Wow, only 5 months. Haven't got to the 6 month mark, and I'm learning it real quick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? When it's the truth, it's the truth.
Yeah, but I can't believe that she was so ahead of the curve, and that's because, when you're used to adults being in charge, that like for the most part things will be okay. And then here we are. Yeah. So
you know what it is too? Like I feel like you're probably like this too. It's like there's I don't know if Jill's like this, but Mary is certainly the type of planner where she's just it would have been the same thing. It's like we should go out and we should get like some toilet paper, we should get paper towels, and it's just like, but we're not gonna, like, why would you want to be like those other like a-holes just like stocking up on that stuff?
Right,
and it's like, and she's like, well, what's the downside? She's like, if they're all going to be stocking up on it, shouldn't we get like one? And because it's not going to be there if we don't.
Right.
And it's like, oh, I guess so. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm always like, the equivalent is like planning like a vacation. Like planning a vacation to me is like, we're going to book the hotel room, we'll book the flight. Vacation planned. We've done it. That's it. That's the end. Yeah, that's the that's the end of it.
Figure it out, right? Yeah,
dude. With Mary, it's like she's got like the binder. Like, okay, but here's our here's our itinerary. And it's just like, but what? Like, and like, if it's just the two of us, my way would probably be fine too. But it's like now that we're planning for kids too, it's like we need that binder. That binder is that's what's holding us together.
The binder and the backup binder.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I mean, in that case, we're cut from the same cloth. But it was just I was so certain that it wasn't going to be that big of a deal. I think
most people were.
Yeah, and I can't believe that. I think that was the most shocking thing. And when they sent us home, I was like, well, it's just to get ahead of the curve. We'll be back in school in no time. I mean, I haven't been back since March 12th. So, because we've been fully remote the whole time. So it's
right.
And I think my prediction is New Haven will not be in school this year.
I wouldn't think so.
Well, hearing about all the supply problems and I'm glad people are getting vaccinated and I can't wait to get mine, believe me. But if this year has taught me anything, it's that, pump the brakes and wait for the bad news. And then of course there's like supply issues and stuff. So there's no way we're all at least in my district. So I'm ready to just fully be prepared to teach from home. I mean, I kind of got the hang of it.
I think it'd be too much of a change at this point in the year. First of all, the spike that everybody saw after Thanksgiving, it's going to be worse after Christmas. It's going to be worse after New Year's. There's going to be repercussions from all this. There's going to be time that's needed to let all the dust settle after the holidays. So, and then, like you said, like I don't think we're already so far into this year school wise I don't think there's
We're
gonna.
70 days, I think.
I don't think that. I don't think they can change at this point. Maybe they can. Maybe, I mean, we teach in very different districts. My district has been hybrid. We went back on August like 27th or something like that, and we've been back hybrid. I mean, there was a 2-week period where the schools that I teach at shut down, but the district didn't shut down. And the only reason those schools shut down were because of staffing issues. Like there were so many staff members that needed to quarantine that you couldn't staff the building. Other than that, we've been back the entire time. But my wife's in Danbury. They've been remote the entire time too.
Yeah.
It's just
Danbury had a really bad. Danbury was making headlines back in October.
Yeah, Danbury spiked real hard, and that was that was frustrating too, because it was like this dangling carrot of like, oh, we're gonna go back, and then every time it was always like the weekend before where they were gonna go back. Then it was like, nah, we're not gonna do it, which was very frustrating, of course.
They keep telling us, they're like, don't get comfortable, we can go back any day now, and it's like,
not gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Not going to happen.
They love reminding us every meeting, like like my vice principal, he says it all the time, but like with the same like tone that, he knows. But it's like, and all staff should be prepared to go back to full in-person teaching any day now. And it's like, they make you say this, don't they? Like they make,
of course,
his boss, his what's the boss from Office Space? Lumberg. Yeah, his Lumberg is like, you got to tell the troops, rally them up, get them ready to go back. Give me a break.
It's I mean, it's I don't know, man. I mean, part of it is certainly that. I mean, there's that hopefulness. I do think that next year we're going to start in a typical format. I think people are going to get vaccinated. We're going to have, the whole summer. I do think that next year we're going to start in a typical format. Yeah. This year's already planned.
Right.
This year's already planned out.
Right. That's been my frustration, is why can't we all just sacrifice 1 year? And you know what I mean? It's like if George Bush, if this happened in 2001, we'd all be wearing American flag fucking face masks, right? We'd probably be creating a vaccine for a different virus and not the one we're supposed to be fighting. That set aside. But, it would have been a rallying point. And I just can't, it's so frustrating that like to hear these parents be like, oh, my kids are missing their life, and they're like 4 years old or something. And it's like, Jesus Christ, like, don't you want them to experience the rest of their life? Or, you got young kids. Like, I mean, come on, like, kids are resilient. And second, can't we use this as a teaching moment? But instead it's the opposite.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, it is tough with the young kids, because like the learning at that stage of the game it just needs to be so hands-on. You know what I mean? And it's
like my kindergartners finally are figuring out remote learning.
Well, like we're fortunate in that our daughter, we have two daughters. We have a 7-year-old in first grade and a 2-year-old in drives us up the wall grade. Yeah. And like, they're like a couple of things. First of all, we were able to hold our 7-year-old back a year because she's a November birthday. So we had her do a full-on kindergarten program when she was 6, and then she did kindergarten in public school again last year. Yeah. So the first grade like curriculum, like, we're just fortunate. Like, she's like, she's little, but I'll say it, like, she's a scholarly kind of kid. She just is. Like,
your oldest daughter is a fucking rocket scientist.
She is. She's the stuff comes, like, which she doesn't get from me, because school never came easy to me, I'll tell you that. But like, she enjoys it. She likes it, and she does well with it. Like, thank God we were able, like, we had the means and we had the ability to hold her that year. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. and thank God that she's the one in first grade right now, and the little one isn't the one in first grade right now, because the personality types are so drastically different. Like, we would be probably, I don't have any hair left to pull out, but if I did, I would be if she was the one in first grade right now.
You're pregnant again?
Yeah.
Hey,
So,
Homer, March pregnant.
this is becoming increasingly vague, but thank you. I do enjoy my new job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so much of it is different kid to kid, but I hear what you're saying. It's like there's people freaking out about this stuff, and it's like, it's hard because your kids, when you do have kids, they become your life. But it's like, and it is hard to see the big picture sometimes. But it like, man, like, let's just get through this. Like, sometimes you gotta look, you gotta prioritize. You gotta do it in every other aspect of your life, and you gotta do it right now too. What's more important? Are you upset that they're not getting like the in-school experience that they should be getting? And that goes for, and I get it, that goes for every stage of the game. You have the elementary school kids, you have the middle school kids, you have the high school kids, you have seniors in high school that are gonna, they're missing their prom, they're missing sports, they're missing, college applications are different. You have like serious high school athletes that would be getting looks from universities. I don't know. I don't know how that works now. You know what I mean? Right. So like, I do understand it. I understand like the upset, the parents that are upset about that, and I understand how like, it is very unnerving. And unfortunately, it's just like, it is what it is. We're all kind of in this together, and things will work out the way they're going to work out. They have to. We don't have a choice in that matter.
Yeah. I agree with you there. And but now flipping, I'm gonna change the subject because
let's talk about pizza.
Yeah, let's talk about pizza, music, all that good stuff.
Let's do that.
You had mentioned, so I've been wanting to get you on the podcast. You mentioned that we should talk about Christmas music.
We should talk about Christmas music.
And man, that's why I love you, because I was like, it went off, the light bulb went off, and I went, of course, Christmas music with Shane. What a great concept. What is your overall about Christmas music? Like,
I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I feel like it's a somewhat of a polarizing topic, particularly amongst musicians. But I'm okay with it. I can't do a full month of it. I can't listen to it. It can't be the only thing I'm listening to. But I like it. There's certain songs I like, certain songs that I'm lukewarm to, and certain songs that I just don't really care for. Yeah. There's like records that I like, and then there's, songs and stuff like that. Sure. So I'll say there's some stuff that I like that's like super mainstream, but I don't care. I like it anyway.
Yeah.
I love the Mariah Carey tune.
Oh yeah, we all do.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
I like the Michael Bublé Christmas album is a masterpiece, I think.
Yeah.
Like, as far as Christmas music goes, my daughters know that the day after Thanksgiving until New Year's Day, we get to listen to Holiday Soul, the Don Patterson and Pat Martino album. And then
it's been a while since I listened.
Dude, so good. Yeah. Pat Martino's like 18 years old on that record, and he is absolutely smoking.
So when I always enjoy it's always like I rediscover that they're there, but I have these Don Patterson records, like all these Prestige cuts on vinyl. The guy is so like the Prestige lineup of organ grinders are just, Holiday Soul's on Prestige. That's a Prestige record. Right. That whole vibe. I'm probably going to cue one of them up after this. There's that one. Totally forgot it. I believe Bobby Timmons has a Christmas album. I look up stuff on the show all the time. So
and I like with Holiday Soul, it's like it's this like really nice juxtaposition of like schmaltzy melodies, but then the solos are like absolutely ripping.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like they're playing like Jingle Bells and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and all this stuff. And it definitely has like the elevator music vibe to it. But then they start blowing, and it's just like, oh, this is fantastic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's Holiday Soul, and then Duke Pearson has like one where he's dressed like Santa on the cover, and I wish these guys were alive because if we were in a clinic with Bobby Timmons, right, and hands are going up, oh, Mr. Timmons, what was it like playing with Art Blakey? What was it like playing with Lee Morgan? All this stuff. My hand would go up and be like, how much are you still seeing from that Christmas record? Because,
yeah, well, I don't know if you were with us. We went to see when we were in college. We went to see Michael Brecker play with Elvin Jones.
Yeah,
were you with us for that?
Yes.
So and people
I barely knew you guys at that point.
Okay.
I think
so. That was
Tepper or Kenny Owens, I think, told me about that show. And I just remember squeezing in the car. I was just like, that's great.
Let's do it. Yeah. Oh, and like I wish I could see that show now instead of when I was 19 years old.
Yeah.
But like everybody's going up to Elvin and to Michael Brecker at the end of the show, and oh man, I love you on this record. Oh, like this is great, blah blah blah. And I gave Michael Brecker a copy of Born to Run to sign because he's he plays on Born to I'm a big Bruce Springsteen fan, so like I gave him.
Which I need to talk. I have something I got to talk to you about,
but like it was kind of cool because it was like he's like, oh thanks, I appreciate it, and then I handed him a Born to Run vinyl, and he was like, like and it's like, yeah, you can laugh, but you're still seeing money from that, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, Freddie Hubbard takes a mean solo on, I believe the track is Zanzibar, on Billy Joel.
Oh okay, yeah.
Never Throw Rocks maybe is the record. I gotta look it up.
Glass Houses.
Yes, yeah. And because I'm not the, I know the hits, and that's about it when it comes to.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Billy Joel fan. I mean, I kind of went through a Billy Joel phase in high school, but I find like it's weird. Like I respect it, but I just like. I can't listen to very much of it anymore. I don't know why. Like I just find it kind of silly now.
It's boomer anthemism. It's a generational thing. I think.
But it's weird because I liked it. It's like I liked it so much in high school, and then now that I listen to it, like there's still a couple Billy Joel tunes that I really like. I like Angry Young Man. Scenes from an Italian Restaurant I still like.
Yeah.
But a lot of the other stuff, it's just kind of like, it's like, this is the song, no deeper meaning, this is the song. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Freddie, like I was saying, Freddie Hubbard takes a solo on Zanzibar, and it's like, I'm sure it was just I'm sure Billy Joel knew who Freddie Hubbard was. It was like, I want.
I'm not so sure.
Or maybe not. It's one of those things, and who knows? There's on Netflix. This is kind of related. I always make the joke: how much returns do you think Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci see every Christmas season because everyone's watching the Home Alone movies?
Is that how it works?
Well, I mean, there's got to be something, right? I mean, hopefully. After, I know for a fact that after Star Wars, getting residuals became like a big thing for actors because nobody. So the way like George Lucas basically like paid this the cast with what little money he had was like, oh, I can give you this meager amount. But but your residuals are higher in your contract, so that's why they make millions of dollars. Because
no, I get that. I'm just saying. I'm saying like, do like Pesci and Stern make more this time of year because more people are streaming it?
I wonder. I mean, they got to be making. I mean, everybody's watching Home Alone. There's got to be something. And Netflix has this thing called the movies that made us. I'm a sucker for these stupid documentaries. And Daniel Stern, if I got to watch it again, if I remember correctly, he mentioned something like it's the gig that keeps on giving or something like that. And yeah, probably, I mean, what do if you're in a hit franchise, I'm not surprised if like, that's what you just milk it and just
sure,
whatever. And sure enough,
well, you know how I feel about Daniel Stern. That man is a national treasure.
Oh, absolutely. I celebrate the Daniel Stern collection.
Yeah,
but I need to rewatch Bushwhacked and the City Slicker movies, and I feel like I can get my wife into the Wonder Years. I feel like she would get sucked into it.
I haven't seen that since I was a kid, and like
Same.
I only watched it because my parents watched it. It was like a
Same.
show. It was like a show that me, my sister, and my parents could all watch together. I feel like it was a Sunday night show.
Yeah, I believe it was.
You know, and I definitely remember, and I remember the season finale. I remember the season finale being a really big deal.
Yep.
Because I remember.
I'll never forget. My mom was sobbing at the last episode of the Wonder Years.
Yeah, I think I vividly remember the scene where Winnie was crying, and I cracked some joke about her crying, and I think my dad was like, "Shut up!" like it was just like, don't even think about interrupting this beautiful moment.
That's amazing, knowing your dad. But back to the music stuff. So yeah, Duke Pearson's Bobby. Yeah. So yeah, in the masterclass, I would be like, Mr. Timmons, is Holiday Soul your best album? Because it's probably still paying dividends. And it's funny that you brought You're Born to Run to Michael Brecker. It's hilarious, man. Like, we think about these guys as such great artistes, but then so many of them get like the call to be on some record that becomes I hate to say it, in some cases way more successful than some of their most quote unquote.
Oh, absolutely. So I teach a class at WCSU, and we're getting down to the end of the semester. We're talking I like to talk. We were talking about Christmas music.
Sure.
Just like because the classes are all on Zoom this semester, so it's like leading into class, let's talk about Christmas music, for a few minutes. And I mentioned Holiday Soul, and one of the kids was like, "Oh my God, like that's a big record in my house." He goes, "That's Billy James on drums, right?" And I was like, "I honestly don't know who the drummer is on that. I know it's Don Patterson. I know it's Pat Martino." I was like, "I don't know who the drummer is though." And I'm like, I'm going to Google it right now. And sure enough, he was right. He's like 19 years old, and he knew the personnel better than I did on that record. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like, I guarantee he doesn't have like any I know he doesn't, because we talked about it. He doesn't have any Pat Martino records. He doesn't have any Don Patterson records, right. But he's got Holiday Soul, and he knew the personnel on Holiday Soul,
Yeah. It's funny, you'll play that random, especially being a trumpet player, you'll play that random gig, and some, usually older guy will come up to me, and he'll recall some random, Al Hurt record, or like, something like they'll be like, I didn't really listen to jazz, but I love Holiday Soul. They throw that curveball out to you, and also, before you were saying like the Christmas music you like, my wife started playing Michael Bublé's Christmas album, I believe Thanksgiving night. So especially with COVID,
yep.
Everyone started decorating a lot sooner, and even the Grinch in myself, I was okay with it. And I believe because we were in quarantine for Thanksgiving, I believe after we finished our dinner, she put on Michael Bublé and started unpacking the Christmas decorations.
Yeah, it's the day after for us. I mean, like, especially with the kids, like and once once January 1st hits, Holiday Soul is on the shelf until the day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And like a couple months will go by, and then she'll like pull it out. She'll be like, "Can we listen to this?" And you're like, the rules. Like, we can't listen to that.
In the Peters house, very strict.
There's very few rules, but that's a hard and fast one.
Right. It's funny. I think like we were like folding laundry or something, and sure enough, Jill was playing Michael Bublé's Christmas album, and some of those big band swing tunes, man.
They're great.
I was like, holy shit, I forget every year how fucking swinging they are.
They're great. There's like, I have, and I hit this point a few years ago in my life. I've hit the point where it's like, if I like it, I like it, and I'm not going to be ashamed to like it. That Bublé Christmas record is great.
Yeah.
Like the arrangements are great. The playing is great. He's a great singer. I'm down with every bit of it.
Absolutely. And have you checked out John Legend's Christmas album?
I have not.
Okay, it came out maybe 2 years ago.
Okay.
I have to say that John Legend's rendition of Silver Bells might be my favorite Christmas song.
Wow.
Might be
high praise.
Yes, yeah. It is the best song on the record. He does all the hits, he does Baby It's Cold Outside, the Christmas song,
I've heard that. I've heard his version of Baby It's Cold Outside.
Yeah. But man, when Silver Bells kicks in, that's the one tune that I have to play on repeat from that record. I have to listen to that one again. It's just, and there's nothing swinging about it. There's nothing 251 about it. It's just, it's quite pop, to be honest with you. I don't fucking care. I love it.
That's it, man.
Every bit of it.
Good stuff is good stuff.
Yeah, but my favorite Christmas songs, I am, again, I'm not ashamed to admit, they're usually like the girl band ones from the 60s, like the Ronettes.
Okay.
I'll look some stuff up, but like
well, we definitely have some favorite, like Mary's favorite, like not even up for debate, is Christmas Wrapping by the Waitresses. Like that is her number one favorite Christmas song, which is a great tune.
Yeah.
I don't know, like like how I feel about Paul McCartney's Wonderful Christmas Time.
We were gonna get to it, but
we respectfully disagree on that one. But
we do. The Ronettes are the one. They sing. They're very famous for "Be My Baby."
Yeah.
And like a Supremes-esque group, and they do Sleigh Ride. They do Frosty the Snowman. I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus. All the like the kiddie, kind of Christmas tunes. Man, they get me every time. Every fucking time, these songs. I'm trying to look up. There's
what's a great Christmas tune too is I love the Eagles version of Come Home for Christmas, and like I get made fun of. You know what? So like what a massive fan of the Coen brothers and specifically the Big Lebowski I am.
Oh, of course.
But that one line in the Big Lebowski just like put this like hex on the Eagles for and it's like not cool to like the Eagles.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you they were a great freaking band. All right, and their version of Come Home for Christmas is outstanding. And like if you haven't watched the history of and this is a little off the rails, but if you haven't watched the documentary The History of the Eagles, do yourself a favor and watch that documentary.
I feel like you've been telling me to watch this for
years. That documentary is a masterpiece. It's an absolute masterpiece. I think it's like 5 hours long. I think I've seen it 7 times.
The reason why I don't like the Eagles is because I think I told you this before. My mother used to play the Eagles' greatest hits whenever we had to do chores on like Saturday mornings.
So you just equate it to
Oh, absolutely, dude, absolutely. I remember specifically you playing it once when we had the dorm apartment. I remember you playing it once, and I was like, I feel like I'm supposed to be vacuuming right now. I'm irate, and like anytime I heard "Witchy Woman," I'd be like, God damn it, I got to take out the garbage. Like, So for like a good solid 5 years in the DeMaria household in the 90s. Saturday morning chores. That's why I don't like them.
You got 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt.
Right, and it's like it's nothing personal. They never had a chance.
Now my buddy Will like just refuse. He just refuses to like. And I was just like, just watch the documentary. And he's like, I will, and he never fucking does.
Yeah, right. That reminds me, before I forget, watch the new Zappa documentary if you have not, because it's killing.
Zappa, I got to revisit. I was never a huge Zappa fan, but I was never really exposed to him. Like, my musical upbringing was good, but it wasn't like super varied. It wasn't like very broad. And then when I got to college is when I first heard Frank Zappa, but I found it to be just very like oddball. Yeah. Like, so it's probably something I just need to revisit because I never understood, like we had friends in college that was, I'm just not ready for this music yet, man.
Sure.
And I was like, whoa, so deep. Like,
what, you think better than me?
Yeah, exactly. But what I think they meant, and what I think, at least the way I think about it now, is I'm not ready for this yet means that I just don't like it yet, but I'm not sure why. And maybe I just haven't come around to liking it yet for any number of reasons. You know what I mean? And there's there's a lot of stuff that I like now that I didn't like back then. Like one get like, you know, I'm a guitar player. One guitar player that was like that for me back in college in undergrad was John Scofield. It was just like
Sure.
I'm supposed to like him, but I don't, and I just don't.
Oh, okay.
And I just don't know why.
I don't think I knew that about you.
No, I wasn't into Sco when I was young. I remember this. So like I was telling this other guy I went to. So I did my undergrad in guitar at WestCon, then I did my master's in guitar at SUNY Purchase, and you know, I remember telling a guitar player that I was doing my master. He was also doing his master's at Purchase with me. You know, we went to go see as far as I'm concerned, the Scofield Trio play, which is the one with Bill Stewart and Steve Swallow.
Yeah.
When they played at WestCon. So I remember he was a big Sco fan, and you know, I remember just texting him. It's like, hey, Sco's playing tonight at WestCon. I can get you a ticket. Like, do you want to just like drive up from New York and come meet me there? He's like, absolutely. Like, no questions asked. Like, I'll be there. So we went, and the concert was unbelievable, you know. And I remember having this conversation with him. Do you know the Mike Stern record Play?
No.
So there's a Mike Stern record called Play where he plays with a bunch of different guitar greats. So he does a track with Sco, he does a track with Pat Martino,
gotcha.
Does a track with I don't have a huge recollection of the memory beyond that, or the record rather beyond that. So, and I remember like I think the one Sco is on, it's on the title track, and I believe it's a minor blues. And I remember thinking back in college, like, man, like Scofield just walked right into this one. Mike Stern is just beating him up and down on this, you know, because back then I was just like, you know, bebop is life. This is great.
Sure.
And then, you know, you revisit that. I revisited that album like 8-9 years later, and I was like, oh no, I had that completely backwards. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, once you kind of like, you know, I got a little bit more adept with harmony and stuff like that. It was like, oh my God. So, yeah, it just being ready for music. I think that's what it means. Because back in the day, I was just like, I don't remember. Like people said it, and I was like, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. But I think that's what they were talking about. It's just like it doesn't sound good. It's like it doesn't sound good to me yet. But that's maybe because I'm not really adept enough to understand what's going on.
Sure.
And you know, I think that's what they meant. Because now it's just like I listen to John Scofield play, and it's just like, good Lord. It was the same thing with Bill Frisell. Guitar player back in college, you know, was like, oh, check this Bill Frisell record out. And I'd listen to like 2 tracks off on it. And I was like, yeah, it's pretty good. And now I listen to it, and it's like absolute masterpiece. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I couldn't get past the twanginess with Bill Frisell. Scofield was my favorite because, you know, as it was, he's like a gateway drug for jazz guitar. Especially
see, Pat Martino was my gateway drug for jazz guitar.
See, it was Sco. Who Pat Martino was, you know, at a certain point. So it's like Sco is definitely the way to get into it. But now I understand why, you know, you especially or guitar players in general would love Pat Martino.
It was like the closest thing to playing straight ahead. Like it was just, you know, really just thumping and pounding eighth note lines, and it was exciting to me. You know what I mean? Like I remember, you know, people trying to turn me on to Kinda Blue when I was like 18 years old, and I was just like, this is really boring. Like this is super boring. I just don't like this.
Oh yeah.
You know. Yeah. And then I had like another guitar teacher who like, you know, kind of helped me get into music school, and he was like, I remember I was living in Manchester at the time, and there was a Borders, you know, books and music, right? Yeah. And he's like, dude, would you do me a favor? He's like, I ordered a copy of Live at Yoshi's, the new Pat. I was 18 years old, you know, trying to get into music school. Didn't realize how little I knew about everything. And he's like, I put it on hold, but they're only gonna hold it for me today. Would you mind? You live in Manchester. Would you mind going to Borders for me and picking it up? I was like, yeah, sure. And I remember I went. And I got it, and I was like, do you have any more of these? And they were like, oh, yeah, we got a couple more. You want another one? I was like, yeah, I'll take one, too. I'm picking it up from a buddy of mine, but I'll take it for myself. And I remember, like, listening to Live at Yoshi's, the live album with Joey DeFrancesco and Billy Hart on drums.
Oh, Hart on drums.
Yeah, yep, on that one it's Billy Hart. Usually with the Joey D, crew. It's Byron Landon, but that one's Billy Hart, and it was just like I remember putting it on, and like the beginning, the first track is Oleo, and they do it in like a Pat Martino kind of vibe where they're pretty much just playing in like C Dorian the entire time.
Sure.
And it was just like my mind was blown. I was like, okay, this I can get into. Yeah. I can get into this. It was like, because it's like you think of like an organ trio, especially one that were like Joey D's driving everything. I mean, that's pretty rocking. You know, jazz or no jazz, like that's. And I came from, you know, as most guitar players initially do, you come from a rock background. You know,
right. Well, yeah, I mean, that's how it was for me. I talk about all the time that I hated Kind of Blue. I despised having to listen to it and transcribe it and stuff. And it wasn't until I heard the Sidewinder where I was like, oh, jazz can be cool. You know, jazz is fun because you've got Lee Morgan ripping these blues licks.
Like, I love Lee Morgan.
Right. If you've got if you're 16 and your ears, you know, you think your ears are sophisticated, they're far from it. That's like, not only accessible, it's also exciting to hear that. So it was, you know, Sidewinder is what got me into jazz.
Yeah.
You know, for almost the same purpose, because the only, you know, my only jazz experience was playing in jazz band, but some of these tunes we're playing are you know, big band renditions of you know, jazz funk tunes.
Oh no, it's you know, the 95% of high school jazz bands are rock and roll big bands.
Yeah, right.
They just are. You're and look, like, you know, we're both, you know, music teachers, public school music teachers. You're just at the mercy of whoever's in the gig.
Right.
And it's not to say that they're not trying to do you a disservice, but they're just trying to go with what they know. You know what I mean? Like, how many big bands can you think of, like at a high school level, that are playing like legit music? You know, it's completely based on who the director is and what their background is. And I'm going to say, and then, you know, you get the people that they were not jazz musicians, but they were band people. And so, you know, they're playing, you know, old school rock tunes, or they're playing like the Chicken, and then nothing wrong with the Chicken. I'm not, you know, or Manteca or anything like that.
Yeah,
you know,
Chameleon.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with those tunes, but it's like that's kind of their depth when it comes to jazz music. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely in one of those big bands in high school, and you know what? I had a great time. You know.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah. We, you know, I was talking to J-Rod all the time about this. It's got to be fun, man. If it's not fun, what's the point?
That's it. What's the point?
Yeah. My favorite guitarist is Grant Green, and I think mostly because he plays like a horn player. So he was always very easy to follow. You know, my ears were able to follow his playing a lot of the time. Jim Hall, though, I first heard Jim Hall with you know, on The Bridge, and then,
with the Sonny Rollins record,
and then the record he did with Art Farmer, like Live at the Half Note or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, they're both horn quartets where the only you know, chordal instrument is the guitar.
Yeah, Jim Hall, I mean, he's certainly in my top 3 of guitar players for sure. I mean, I don't know who the other 2 would be, but he's certainly in there.
Yeah, I mean, that's when I really got blown away. Like I love Grant Green, you know, like I was saying, for like, you know, and even Grant Green admitted that like his prime influences were horn players and stuff. So it's always great to hear his playing from a horn player's perspective. But when I dug into Jim Hall, that's when I was like, oh, you know,
he's incredible.
He's playing on Interplay, you know, with Bill Evans, like, golly, you know, so.
Yeah, Interplay and Undercurrent, and I mean, my
fucking Undercurrent. I forgot about that record.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's just him and Bill Evans. I mean, my favorite Jim Hall record is definitely it's called Jim Hall Live. It's a trio record from, I think it's 1975. I want to say
he's wearing like a sweater vest or something.
He just looks like the chillest grandpa ever.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that record is phenomenal. That's the one that made me play like The Way You Look Tonight in 3 all the time. Like, you know, it's like if there's an opportunity to play that tune, I'm going to try and play it in 3. Yeah, Jim Hall, Grant Green. Grant Green, I just never really got into, and I tried, and it may just be worth another go around for me. You know what I mean?
Sure.
just certainly at the beginning of me learning the instrument, it was just not the type of guitar player that I connected with. Kenny Burrell, kind of the same thing. I was never a huge. I mean, I love a lot of the records he's on, but like him personally, I was just never a huge, like a big Kenny Burrell kind of guy. I have the respect, of course, but like,
of course,
it was never.
We're not saying they're bad. We're just saying
No, of course not. And Kenny Burrell's on pretty much like maybe the quintessential like organ record that got me into organ music, which is Organ Grinder Swing, the Jimmy Smith record with
right.
Grady Tate and Kenny Burrell. I mean, I was always, I liked a few guitar players. I always really liked piano players. A lot of guitar players were always like you mentioned, like, oh, I want to play like a horn player. I always just liked piano players' approach to music, especially coming from someone who plays a chordal instrument. Like I wanted that kind of ability on the guitar to like function in a trio setting, like chordally as well as just playing single note lines.
Who do you dig then? Who are your players?
Wynton Kelly is just phenomenal. Of course, like Desert Island Records, that definitely on that list for me is going to be Soul Station. Wynton Kelly's playing on Soul Station on that Hank Mobley record is fantastic. Chick Corea, if I were to pick like my favorite, if I were just to like, and it changes, right? It's like picking a favorite Beatles record. For me, it changes probably every year, which is my favorite Beatles record. But like, I mean, Chick Corea is I'm just constantly blown away. Like I could listen to anything from, the beginning of his career to stuff he's put out recently. And it's just, I love his playing. I love the way he articulates on the piano. I don't know as many piano players like him that can sound so different on the same instrument. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just his ability to just sound so different. From tune to tune, and just how he's feeling at the moment, to just like I'm not, he's just got a wonderful touch. I love Chick. Chick, Wynton Kelly, Mulgrew Miller. I absolutely love. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. I absolutely love Mulgrew Miller. I'm trying to think of. I mean, Red Garland, of course. Bill Evans, of course. Like, there's all the big names. You know who I haven't heard from recently, and it just could be me just not having my ear to the ground. I love Joey Calderazzo. He played
on a lot of Brecker records.
A lot of Brecker records. Specifically, his playing on Tales from the Hudson is really fantastic. One of the first jazz
records I ever heard.
Tales from the Hudson?
Yeah, I think it was only maybe 2 or 3 years old, and my high school band teacher was into Mike Brecker, so that was played a lot. While we were setting up for jazz band, he would have it playing over the PA or something. So I got really acquainted with that record, and it's been, maybe 20 years since I've heard it. It's crazy.
I revisit it every once in a while, but yeah, I mean that Ahmad Jamal, of course. I mean, it's limitless,
I know. I know it really is.
Just great. Yeah, I love the sound. I have no. It's funny. I have no interest in the piano whatsoever. As far as like me ever like wanting to learn I definitely like but just the I love listening to it. I love having the appreciation for it.
Oh sure. I always wish I gave it some more time during the day. Luckily, I have enough ability to get my job done. Accompany. Yeah. I could play basic black chords and basic melodies, at the same time. But man, I wish I could. I wish I could play it. I wish I could be a piano player. I think I'd want to be a bassist. If I could like reinvent myself, I think I'd want to be a bass player.
I'm the same. It would be bass or it would be organ.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Right. I just, man, I know this is going to sound super corny on a jazz podcast, but nothing makes me happier than hearing a walking bass. I really mean that. Yeah. I really mean it. Like, I love, like, for instance, the Intrepid Fox on Red Clay, right? Mm-hmm. Right? That intro, and then Ron Carter, right? Gets me every fucking time. that bass line, just like that running bass line that he's playing. He's just walking every time.
Yeah.
Or
There's
Doug
something
Watkins.
about it.
Doug Watkins on Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers at Cafe Bohemian. So Hank Mobley, Kenny Dorham. Oh shit, is it? I think it's Horace Silver on piano. One of the first tracks is Soft Winds, just a B flat blues.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking love, Doug Watkins' sound on that record. So I think I would be a bass player if I could. Piano player next. Anything where I'm not using my face. If I could be born again. Just, man, I love playing the horn, but good God, the one thing that drives me nuts is the face part of it.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah, it is. I would love to. I would love to use my hands. It's like I am so fucking jealous of just what drives me nuts is if I'm on a gig and the rhythm section's getting everyone's warming up, right? It's right before the first tune.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's talking while they're doing it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't. Oh, yeah. I feel out of place. I'm like, hey guys, can I hang too? Oh, we already got a Nick.
Yeah.
We already got a Homer.
Yeah.
Homer Klumpkin in. It's just basically that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. It feels pretty good to talk to people while you're playing.
I bet. It definitely makes queuing things easier too.
It definitely does. That's for sure.
Yeah. So, but to bring it back to Christmas music.
Okay.
The second I hear the bow wow 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 bow wow wow wow, my blood boils.
See, I'm the opposite.
I hate that song.
I love it.
And we're for anyone who doesn't know, Shane and I are very good friends, so we can talk about our differences. He knows I greatly respect Paul McCartney. It has nothing to do with Paul McCartney. I just fucking hate that song.
I love it.
It is. Oh God.
Now, I don't know. I love that tune. Now, was there a negative connotation similar to your Eagles story with that tune, or no?
Yeah, no. To my credit, if you remember when I worked at a pawn shop in our college years.
How could I forget?
Right, and do you remember the infamous night we played Risk? Do you remember when we played Risk and it was 4 a.m?
Yeah, and you had to go to work the next morning.
And I surrendered most of Asia and Australia, and you guys got so mad at me. I was like, I gotta go to fucking work in 2 hours.
Yeah.
But when I was working there during Christmas, they would play KC 101, and KC 101 would play Christmas songs all day long. So I had to listen to Christmas music all day long, which was fine, except for it was mainstream radio. So it was really 22 song rotation.
Yeah.
So it was
it's limited.
Right. So it was the same Christmas songs and simply having a wonderful Christmas time was played every hour or maybe every half hour. I'm not even joking. It was all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it started.
Yeah, I don't know. There's definitely Christmas songs I don't love. I'm trying to think of any ones that I'm just nope, turn it off. I'm not a huge fan of. I don't even know what the name of the tune is, but "Do They Know It's Christmas?" Is that the name of the tune? Do they know it's Christmas time at all? That one.
I feel like I know that one.
It's like a We Are the Worlds thing.
Yeah,
isn't it a super band?
Maybe. Ooh. Yeah, my wife would know.
Yeah.
She would know all the lyrics.
A lot of the ones that people are really into, I'm not the Wham song is
oh yeah,
a 6 for me. It's a 6 out of 10 for me.
I got friends who love that one.
It's okay. I'll listen to it. I'm not I'm not opposed to it, but I'm not I'm not oh boy, here we go, Christmas time, I'm going to put on this Wham record. Just, I'm not, I don't know.
Real quick, not to deviate too far, but Crystal Silence, right? Chick Corea? Is that the duo record with Gary Byrne?
Yeah.
I love that record.
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to think of it since you talked about Chick Corea, and it just popped into my head. Totally
yeah,
the conversation.
No. Yeah, the Chick and Gary Burton stuff is awesome. I have a man. I've had it for a while. I haven't watched in a while. I have like it was a it's like a it's like a 10 DVD set of like when Chick did 2 weeks of the Blue Note for his
Yeah, he turned like
birthday,
50, right? It was like,
or yeah, 50
yeah,
or
it's like
60.
it's
I
like
don't
long
remember.
enough. Yeah, it's like long
Yeah,
enough
yeah,
ago.
yeah.
Yeah,
But one of the discs is just duo with him and Gary Burton, and it's phenomenal.
yeah. I'm queuing it up right now. Actually, I'm definitely gonna put it on when we're done talking. Yeah, because they play like a bunch of Return to Forever tunes on it.
Yeah, that stuff is great.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's like the recent one he did. He did like 2 parts with Lenny White and Christian McBride, Forever. It's live.
Is it Lenny White or the one with Brian Blade?
Oh, maybe it is Brian Blade.
It's Brian Blade, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
They play standards.
Maybe. I think they do. I think they do How Deep Is the Ocean.
It's called like Trilogy, right?
Yeah, Trilogy. That's it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 2 different records. I thought there was one called Forever. I thought it was Lenny White.
There's Trilogy 1 and Trilogy 2, I believe.
And maybe that's what I'm thinking.
They are standard. I mean, there's a lot of standards on these.
What's the one called Forever? Who's on that one?
I'm looking.
Maybe I'm mixing up records. I probably am because
Forever.
I don't have.
To be honest with you, Chick Corea puts out so much.
He does put out a lot of stuff
that I can easily not know the record you're talking about just because it's like, Jesus, I haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I don't even know. Maybe it's under something else. Oh, there's a new Crystal Silence. Oh, I did know about this. Yeah, with Gary Byrne. Yeah, I mean, him, Keith Jarrett's another one. It's like, good God, man. Like, I'm so backlogged in Keith Jarrett trio records. It's insane.
Yeah, yeah.
And it does, and it's not how I know that this is like first world problems, but it doesn't help that when you go on Spotify, some of the records are under Keith Jarrett, some of them are under Keith Jarrett Trio. It's not organized, so it's not like you can. It's not like you can literally go chronological because it's like, man, you know.
Yeah, I got news for you though. The jazz section, Spotify's not super concerned with.
No, not at all. No. But yeah, I mean, simply having a wonderful Christmas time is.
I like that. I like that song. I have like very, and I'll tell you this too. Like I have positive memories of that song from my childhood. Like I always remember that being on in the house. And then I remember playing a Christmas gig one time with a cover band that I was in with J-Rod before they became like wedding band moguls that they are today. And we played a gig. It was a Christmas gig at a bar in Litchfield, and it was one of those things where I just said let's play Wonderful Christmas Time tonight, the Paul McCartney tune. And they were like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'll take like a 30-second video and send it to you guys the way I'm hearing it, like for us. And I sent it to them, and then we played it that night.
Sure. Like,
here's the vibe. Just learn the tune. We'll play it. And dude, now, granted, most of the people in that bar were very, very hammered. But jolly. when we they were very jolly. But when we played that tune, everybody was singing along with that tune.
Oh,
everybody.
I believe it. I'm sure they did.
I know they're just a bunch of local yokels to you, but to me, it was an
yeah,
outstanding evening.
Only hillbillies listen to that song.
Yeah. The hillbillies of Litchfield, Connecticut.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to each his own. It's just, I'd rather listen to. Jingle Bell Rock, I suppose.
Jingle Bell Rock, okay. Yeah.
Or Holly Jolly Christmas. Love that one. My Silver Bells by Dean Martin will always remind me of my dad. My dad would just break out into that all the time. So,
my dad loves the Brian Setzer holiday stuff.
Oh, I totally forgot. That's a whole other untapped
market.
It
is. It's a whole. We got him to so much so this is like the this is the start. Tomorrow's the start of the marathon for our family because my mom's birthday is tomorrow.
Okay.
Then we have Christmas. Then we have New Year's, and then my dad's birthday is January 6th. Oh, so we have this Day. Fair enough. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
So it's just yeah. We're starting the marathon tomorrow.
Wow, that's May for me. My parents are May 1st, May 2nd. My brother's May 4th. Then you got Mother's Day.
Mother's Day's in there too.
Mother's Day's not far behind.
No, it's
sister-in-law's birthdays coming up.
May's kind of like
terrible.
Yeah, May's kind of like that for us too. We got Mary's birthday, my sister's birthday, Mother's Day. Quinn's birthday is in April.
Yeah.
So yeah. That calendar just keeps getting loaded up.
Oh, sure. All right, Shane. We've been bullshitting here for quite some time. I think we're good, man.
It's easy to do.
I know. It really is. It's always fun to catch up with you. Thank you for reminding me that we needed to do an episode on Christmas music, because I feel like it was perfect.
Oh, we got it. We got to talk about Christmas. It's like I said before, it's such a polarizing topic.
Yeah. And we'll definitely have the college themed parties. I think that's a great idea. I think
we should do that. And then, I mean, just all the stupid stuff that we did, you know what I mean? Just, yeah. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah. Likewise. So, all right. Thanks for coming on, Shane. And, best of the holiday season for you. And
right back at you.
Yours. Thanks, buddy. And, thanks for being on the show. We'll have to have you come back, because I'm just getting bigger and bigger here, I guess.
Where are the cameras?
Yeah. Before you know, it'll be the Merv Griffin. All right, man. I'll catch you later.
All right. Peace.
Take care. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed that pretty casual conversation with Shane. It's always a blast to talk to him, and man, again, I can't stress it enough. This show is just so cathartic. It's great to just catch up with musicians that I work with or know, in addition to those that I don't know as well. And hopefully, as the I'm thinking that as the show progresses, we will get more more musicians that I'm not as cordial with. I feel like interviewing my friends, that's and colleagues, that's a good way to get my interviewing chops under my belt. Because like I said last episode, that interview with Herbie Hancock is just right around the corner, man. It'll happen before you know it. So yeah. Anyway, like I said at the top of the episode, today is the first day of winter. It is the winter solstice, and stay tuned to my next episode where I talk about Yule. I wanna talk about Yule, man. It's kind of metal, this pagan shit that the Christians stole, and turned into Christmas. So, because believe me, Jesus and a Christmas tree are not related at all. But yeah, I'm hoping to put out a lot of content between now and the end of the year for your listening pleasure. And, please hit that subscribe button. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Thank you so much. This has been Mr. Millennial's Revenge. I'm your host, Nick DiMaria. This is a production of the New Haven Jazz Underground. And, see you at the next episode. Take care.